Hi, it's Dr. 𝒔𝒊𝒐𝒏 with Team Healthcare Clinic, and I wanted to give you some things you could do at home to help with headaches. And one of the most popular ones I'm going to demonstrate is sinus headache pressure points. Very successful. You can do it. You can really do it on yourself, but it's usually best if you're laying down like Angela is doing here and somebody does it on you. So I'm going to coach you through that. And then a second one is pressure points for the knots that are in the back of the neck. And then I'm just going to tell you what the third one is, and that is making sure that you drink enough water. Not super sexy to say it, but I'm telling you, it is very, very important. Drink half your weight in water. It solves a lot of problems. But let's go back to the other, sinus pressure points. Everybody gets sick at some time. When you get sick, one of the key things that you should do is work on these pressure points. Now, if I had needles, that would be called acupuncture, but we're going to use good old-fashioned fingers, and we're going to do acupressure. And I think most people are very comfortable with that, probably not so much needles. Let's do the pressure points, and there's going to be an image that we will overlay so that you have a better idea of what the points are, but I want you to know you're going to use the little pads, your fingers, and I'm going to go right against the nose, like right up against the nose, and I'm going to do tiny little circles pressing straight down. Now, when this is really lit up like an infection, this can be painful, but then you just back off and you do it lighter. And then sometimes if it's more just kind of a runny nose and it's not too bad, then you can press a little harder. Second spot is right at the bridge, right up there at the top. And then we go right at the start of the eyebrows. I switched over to my thumbs, they're just a little shorter and I have good control that way. Again, you see the little small circles. And then I go to the middle of the eyebrow. There's a little ridge on the middle of the eyebrow, and you will feel that as you're doing it. Last spot, it's kind of intuitive, right on the outside of the eyebrow. Lots of people just naturally rub here when they have a headache. And not only is this a Chinese acupuncture point, but it's also a spot where there's a lot of muscle tension. So those are your key spots. So again, right next to the nose, right at the top here, start of the eyebrow, middle of the eyebrow, and out of the outside part of the eyebrow. So that's for sinuses. The second one I wanted to tell you is for tension headaches. Number one spot I mentioned was at the back of the neck. So I'm going to just turn Angela's head and show you. Right at the base of the skull, muscles go up and down and they attach your neck to your head, and that's a prime spot for knots if you have forward head posture. Those muscles contract trying to hold the head up. And so once they contract, they create the headache. So what you do there, I'm just going to reach around and I'm going to use my fingertips to just gently put pressure towards myself. And I usually get feedback and ask, how hard they want me to go. And then once I've found that pressure that they find acceptable, maybe they rate it like a 5 on a scale of 0 to 10. Then I wait for them to say when it's dropping, like it goes to a 4 or a 3. And then I can move on to a new spot and do the whole process again. And I'll just go all along the ridge of the head. Again, pushing just hard enough that it's maybe a 5 out of 10 intensity, and then holding it. Maybe it can be seconds, up to maybe 45 seconds to a minute. If it goes much longer than that, I stop. That's usually long enough to have 5 out of 10 pain, but really can be effective. I've had many patients over the years get great success working on each other. We even do a class, Better Results Faster, once a week for our patients, a free class where we do this and other things, teaching you hands-on work. We're big fans of self-help and trying to help our patients feel better, and not necessarily, we want to help you here too, but if we can help you at home, that's even better. So then you don't even have to come if that gets rid of a headache right on the spot. So hopefully you get something from these 3 different really great tips for home headaches.